Kirk. So we're about to watch Twister Part 2, or Twisters, for those people in the back. But
I do Twister Part 2, even though
I think we're a little from column A, a little from column B. I mean, I feel like I remember the original Twister. I liked it. I don't know if this movie's needed. I do like tornado movies, though. So, I mean, I'm a little bit interested. But amazingly, I know it's been out for a little while now. I know nothing about this movie. So, what about you?
I don't either. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a movie I can turn the brain off and just kind of entertain me, right? So we just got done watching The Substance and reviewing that. You had to have your brain locked and loaded. Now you can just turn it off and enjoy mindless entertainment.
Yes, I agree. So, what are you thinking your score might be?
I'm trying to keep my expectations very average, so I'll just keep it a 5.
I feel like I do this every single week, and I say a 5. So I'm going to say just a 5.5, just so I can be like, smart. I think it'll be a little bit above average. I mean, because it's tornadoes. How could you go wrong with tornadoes? But I don't know. So let's find out if we were right or we were wrong next on Movies at 7.
Mike, I got one question for you. What time is it?
It's 7 o'clock somewhere. Showtime. Welcome, everybody, to Movies at 7, the weekly podcast where we dissect, rate, and review one film. And this week took us to Tornado Alley, I guess you could say.
You spin me right round, baby, right round.
I mean, keep singing it. No, yes. So we are.
Do you know that band? Name the band.
I do know that band.
Do or Die. Come on, let's move it.
Is that who it is?
I think so.
No, I don't think that's who it is.
It's not Do or Die? It's something like that. All right. Keep going with your intro. You spin.
Well, we're talking about
Dead or Alive. Sorry.
See, you're complete. How are you going to call me out on something and then not know it? But that's okay.
I was close.
What we are calling out this week is it's not one Twister. It's Twisters.
It's 2 Twisters.
Well,
maybe 17.
I don't
one
know
of those 2 numbers is true.
There's a number in there somewhere, but yes. More than one Twister. You add an S. It's Twisters. It is realistically everything we do now is a sequel, is what I feel like on this show. But yes, we're going to be diving into all things Twisters from 2024. And if this is your first time listening to the show, we're going to spoil the absolute shit out of it. As always, we're co-hosts here. Kirk, Mike, what's going on, sir? How are you doing?
Not too bad, man. Ready to get into this.
It's natural disaster week here.
Ready to spin it up.
What goes up must come down.
That's true.
Is what I've been told.
All the puns. This is gonna be all the puns.
All the puns that are out there. So yes, natural disaster week is upon us, and we will be diving into all things Twisters. So if you haven't seen it, we will spoil the crap out of it. But before we get into it, as we always like to start the show, it is top 7 countdown time. And Kirk, what is this week's theme?
Yeah, so we've got a tornado that is a natural disaster. So we're going top 7 natural disaster movies, not including space stuff. So that's the best way I can put it.
Little asterisk.
Asterisk.
No, listen, we didn't want to do asteroids coming to Earth or space or, aliens or any of that. Yeah, so we just decided it's a natural on Earth disaster.
No one leaves the atmosphere and something bad happens here that naturally occurs.
We have enough of it going on. And yes. Kirk, I will explain the concept to you as I always need to do. You're going to start it, and then you'll kick it over to me for 2, and then you'll go back with 2. Okay. 7 episodes in, I thought you'd be good with this.
I think I got a plan. I got a plan this time. I'm going to use my mouse to set it on the one that I say next. So I'm good. All right, so my number 7 is from 1996. It is a little-known actor's movie named Sylvester Stallone. I don't know if you've heard of this guy, but he had a movie called Daylight. Daylight was some explosions happen and a bunch of people get stuck in a tunnel, like a subway tunnel, and Mr. Stallone gets in there and saves everybody.
Is that a natural disaster? There's an avalanche, right, or something?
Yeah.
I feel like you just named an action movie, and you're like, yeah.
I feel like I did too, but I remember the movie. I really enjoyed it.
People are in danger on Earth. It seems like it's a natural disaster.
Naturally occurring explosion.
That naturally occurring Sylvester Stallone action explosion.
I mean, how can you not like Sylvester Stallone? So
let me go with my Demolition Man. That's my no. I'm kidding.
Rocky.
Yeah, right.
Ivan Drago is a natural disaster.
He is well,
he wasn't very natural. So,
well, all right. So coming in at number 7 for me, actually is a natural disaster movie. It is from 2017. It's a forest fire one. It's called Only the Brave. It's with Josh Brolin, Miles Teller. This is actually based on a true story. I really enjoyed the movie. I didn't know the story of it, but I really liked it. So Only the Brave.
Sounds like something I would like. I've just never seen it.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. It's good. Coming in at number 6 is probably another movie you've never seen because it's from 2020. But it's Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler, yes.
And
Leonidas himself.
Marina, what I can't think of her last name, but it's called Greenland, and basically it's a newer movie. Gerard Butler's been in a lot of natural disaster movies. Like, he's the Jason Statham of natural disasters.
If you played all those movies together, you'd get confused which one's which.
They all are kind of the same movie, but here's the deal: I like it, so it's okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed that movie as well.
I'm surprised you watched it. I didn't even realize.
I've seen that one. I have seen that one. That was a turn your brain off and just kind of enjoy it type movie. Yeah. So, all right. So my number 6. See this? My strategy's working. Is from 2003. So I'm in the 2000s a little bit, but it is the movie Core. The Core. It's a movie with God bless America. I'm not going to remember anybody that's in this movie. I can see their faces. Anyways, they have to drill down to the center of the earth, shut off these nuclear bombs because the earth stopped spinning, and they have to get it spinning again. It's actually a really entertaining movie.
It sounds like the dumbest press.
It does. But it was around that same time frame that all those type of movies were coming out, and it was like, global warming, and it's because the Earth has stopped spinning, so they had to go down there.
If the Earth stopped spinning, wouldn't gravity? We would all just float into space, wouldn't we?
That's not how gravity.
I thought we're spinning, and that forces us onto the Earth.
Welcome to 1980s science.
The Earth is flat as well, so
yes. So it has Aaron Eckhart, Hilary Swank. Yes. So
okay. All right.
Yeah. Stanley Tucci. So it's got some people in it, and it's one of those movies that was right where cell phones were starting to get big. They had this hacker guy that he took a cell phone and like made a noise into it, and he's like, there, you have 3 minutes for the rest of your life. It's like when people didn't fully understand computers and or cell phones. So I always enjoyed that movie. All right. So my number 5 movie. It's from 1997. Again, this mid 90s to mid 2000s was the strong era of disaster movies. Is Volcano from 1997. Do you remember that one at all?
So I don't think I actually saw Volcano, but I've been told it's a really good movie.
Volcano. It's got one scene I just love, and they're in a subway, and they're trying to save these people off the subway, and the magma's coming in or the lava's coming in, and the guy gets the last guy, throws him over his shoulder, and there's lava everywhere. He can't get him out. So he jumps as far as he can with the guy on his shoulders, lands in the lava, and then shoulder presses him out and saves his life, but he dies. It's just a pretty good scene.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he slammed him in the lava, stepped over him, and he made it to safety.
I didn't say you did it.
I mean, well, you would have lost me at picked somebody up. So,
yeah. I mean, this is another loaded cast too. Tommy Lee Jones, Anne Heche, Don Cheadle. The guy who shoulder pressed the guy was John Carroll Lynch. You'd know if you saw him, but it's a pretty good cast. It's a pretty good movie. Around the same time that all these disaster movies are coming out. So,
well, if we fast forward about 20 years after that movie happened, we get to 2015 for my number 5 movie, which it's like a natural disaster meeting a natural disaster, and it's The Rock in San Andreas. I love earthquake movies. Earthquake movies, I think, are just awesome.
The Rock is from the 90s.
No, but he's like a natural. He's a walking net. He's The Rock.
He's the helicopter pilot, right?
Yes.
And Gina, whatever her name is in that movie.
Yeah, I think that's her IMDb. I think that's exactly how it says it.
Yeah, Gina, whatever her name is. Alexander Daddario.
It was Alexander Daddario.
And Carla Gugino.
Yes.
Gugino, that's who I was thinking of.
Great cast. I just love the movie, though. You talk about like dumb out movies. Rock movies are that way, but I really like San Andreas. So that comes in at number 5 for me. And coming in at number 4, we go back to that mid-90s time frame that you're talking about, 1996 to be exact. If you remove the S from our movie today, you get the original Twister, which is iconic. It's a classic. Bill Pullman. I can't remember the lady, Laura Dern.
Helen Hunt.
Helen Hunt. That's who it is.
Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt.
I said Bill Pullman. I was way off on all the people. But listen.
That's your number 4 movie. What do you expect?
Twister's the shit. I like Twister. Everybody likes Twister. I don't know anybody that dislikes Twister.
No, it's a great movie. All right, so my number 4, same time frame, 1998, obviously. Another one of those. Oh, did I cheat on this one? Kind of, but the impact happens, so it's deep. I'm looking at this list. I jacked it all up. Deep Impact it came from outer space, but it happened here. No one left.
Listen,
one.
You got an action movie that's no natural disasters. You have.
I told you I had a hard time with this list. All right, Deep Impact. Whatever. Get over it. It's been a long day. All right, so my number 3.
It's only 7 movies, my friend.
Sorry, I didn't think of The Rock. My number 3 is from 2004. It's A Day After Tomorrow. That is a natural disaster movie. Everybody's seen The Day After Tomorrow. The world freezes. Congratulations.
That was your number 3 movie?
That was number 3.
That is also my number 3 movie. So yes, we both have it in the same spot. Day After Tomorrow, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yep.
That is such a fantastic movie. I think the first hour of it is much better than the rest of it, but it's definitely an edge of your seat, and I just love that where the world's kind of like it's changing, and the CGI and it's really good.
I think it's Roland Emmerich too, right?
Sure.
He makes all those disaster movies.
Well, he probably made this one too. But great film. My number 2 film. I don't know if you've ever seen this. If not, you should definitely watch it. It's called The Impossible. It's from 2012. This is Ewan McGregor and Naomi Watts, and it's a tsunami movie. They're in Thailand, and the tsunami hits, and then it's saving the family and race for survival. And this movie is like 0 to 120, and it just keeps going, and you're just on the edge of your seat throughout it, and the acting's fantastic. It's just a great movie.
Let's check it out.
Yes.
All right, so my number 2 is another Roland Emmerich movie. He likes these type of movies. It's from 2009. It is 2012. So Roland Emmerich, I think, was it John Cusack, I think's in that one?
Yep.
I just think that's a fun movie to watch.
It's an awesome movie, and it's absurd. It's nothing in it is realistic, and it
came out in 2009, so it was before we knew what was actually going to happen in 2012. Nothing. So yes, it's a very, very good movie.
But it is just bonkers fun. I love that movie.
Yes, you already did your number 2, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
I will say our number 1s are different.
They are different.
Yes.
And I already know what your number 1 is, just by that statement alone, and the way you kind of. But anyways, you've already said my number 1 as well. So my number 1 is Twister from 1996. So that
I hear Bill Paxton's in it, and
Helen Hunt.
And Helen Hunt. I almost said Heather Hunt.
You said Heather Dern. She was in Jurassic Park.
Heather Dern and Pullman Bill.
Yeah, Bill Pullman, all that. All right, tell us about 2012 and why you like it.
2012 is fantastic. It's a great film. It's my number 1 film. I'm just for a second there with our first 3 movies, I'm like, are we going to have a bunch of natural disaster movies and not have the exact same one? But I also realized pretty quickly that I chose natural disaster movies and you decided
movies.
It's just action films.
Mid-90s to early 2000s movies. Yeah, let's go.
My number 1 is Fast and Furious. They blow up the side of a mountain, and it's kind of a disaster. So
yeah, the GTR is a natural occurring thing.
Vin Diesel says it's all about family. I agree.
It's all about family. That's natural.
Well, that is. Hopefully, you guys had as much fun lilistening to this as we had.
I don't know how I messed up the deep impact. It can't come from space.
Can't come from space, but I mean, it went into the water, so it's fine. It's on Earth now.
Okay.
I really love that natural Independence Day, natural disaster movie.
The Lord of the Rings. It was very Sauron is a natural.
Star Wars. I mean, it's like back in the day, natural disaster, like before Jesus. Yes. But yeah.
The Passion of the Christ. That was natural.
I mean, that's more than
that would follow the rules better than Deep Impact.
Well, Deep Impact, you literally broke the one rule we had.
I was looking at them, and for whatever reason, my eye just kept skipping over it, and I kept Googling natural disasters. Whatever.
There's so many natural disaster films.
I failed. You're better than me. I don't know what else.
This week I was. Yes. And normally I ask the audience, let us know who won. But this week we all know who did. And
is 2012 better or is Twister better?
Well, that's actually a fair question. That's a fair question.
Because it was my number 2, so I know it's up there. It's your number 4, so I know it's up there.
Listen, Kirk, just do better.
That's
all I'm saying.
This won't be the last time I screw this up.
Well, it's funny because you got
usually the numbers.
You got the numbers right this time, and you fucked up the movie. So
I was so concerned on those numbers. I had a plan of attack.
You can only do one thing at a time. Yeah, I've learned this.
I don't know what you expect from me.
It's okay. Well, listen. Now we can add the S back on to your number 1 movie and see. It didn't make your top 7. I know that. And it didn't make my top 7. So, but let's see where it did land.
Even with the movie, that wasn't even the right criteria.
I mean, once again, you put, I'm surprised you didn't have Escape Plan from Arnold Schwarzenegger on there.
That's
like, they're in a jail. It's a natural jail,
yes.
And
it's a rock jail.
It's a disaster.
It's a disaster that Sylvester Stallone is in jail.
It's crazy. Yeah. But all right, let's hit the main feature.
Warning: the following footage may cause irrational excitement.
Welcome back, and as we just discussed, Twisters is our movie this week. A little Glenn Powell action, a little Daisy Edgar Wright. We'll be diving all into this, but Kirk, before we do, I do have a question for you.
What's in the box?
So spinning out of this box, we got Twisters is a 2024 American disaster film directed by Lee Isaac Chung from screenplay by Mark L. Smith, based on a story by Joseph Kosinski. Wow. Serving as a standalone sequel to 1996 Twister. Talks for the sequel for Twister began in 2020 with Kosinski pitching the idea to Universal and Helen Hunt, who was the original star, not Heather Dern. Also expressing interest in a follow-up but it was ultimately rejected. Helen Hunt and Universal were not involved in the making of this movie. Several directors were approached before Chung was hired in December of 2022. The cast joined in early 23, and filming took place on location in Oklahoma with a brief hiatus because of the strike, but it actually took place in actual towns that were destroyed from tornadoes. And a lot of the sets you do see in this movie are from actual destruction that happened from tornadoes going through. So it's kind of a cool thing they did, and they gave back quite a bit. But Twisters premiered in London in July 8th, 2024, and was released internationally by Warner Brothers Pictures on July 10th and Universal Pictures on July 19th. Received generally positive reviews from critics. It grossed $371 million worldwide on a budget of $155 million. Now, if you do the movie math, that means it probably broke right at even, because you have to double it and add marketing. So it's probably broke even to maybe even lost a little bit of money. So it was close.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I guess we'll find out what we think.
Yeah. So here at the Movies at 7, we like to use a 0 to 10 rating system amongst 5 different categories, which will give us a final score. Story beats is our first category. And
sure
what is that, Kirk?
Story beats. Yeah, story beats is exactly what you're going to think it is. I'm throwing him off with all this stuff. You know, my deep impact is messing with his brain. It's going to be your story, your concept, the 3 acts, just all the writing and what really kind of pieces this movie together for you. So I'll start it off here a little bit, but I'm pretty sure we just got an origin story for this superhero named Kate. She was the most do no wrong person I've ever seen in my life that had all the powers. She's Storm from the X-Men times 2.
I don't know about all that.
No, you need to go back and watch it. If you
I agree with the do no wrong. Every
10 minutes, a different character in the movie is telling you about how awesome she is.
Yeah,
every 10 minutes, and this is a 2-hour and 2-minute movie.
It is a very long movie. I think I got more to say about Kate in our next section, but
sure.
Yes, I do agree that she can do no wrong. In this movie, I have to say, when it comes to the plot, this is kind of the same plot as Twister.
Yeah. So I one of my notes is here, lots of repeats from 1996. It's they tried to hit the same little beat points, you know, the team that has all the money, the country team.
Yeah, it's the powerful versus the not powerful, the good versus the bad. They want to put things up in so they can monitor and know exactly how a tornado works, which is kind of the same plot.
But this one, they wanted to scan it, and one girl wanted to destroy it. And
yeah, I will say I do like how they have Glenn Powell's character is like it's YouTube, and that is very today. And they have like a lot of like people following just the YouTube, and all these storm chasers now are like they think it's just cool, but you know, I like how they put that vibe in there to like make it a little bit more modernized. Realistically though, like, instead of Twisters, this just feels like a reimagining of the original movie.
It was.
And it
this
also
wasn't a sequel. It was a sequel by name only.
Yeah, it also feels like one long country music video.
Which I didn't mind the music. So I thought the music was good. You got Jelly Roll or whatever his name is, got a song in there, Jason Aldean.
If you like country music, yes. Like, I'm not a big country music person. I didn't mind it, but like every scene was like you could tell they're really trying to plug the music artist in there.
Very much so.
And
it just felt like Glenn Powell had his own soundtrack rolling.
Yeah, and every scene. Yeah, you're 100% right. In every scene that he was in, and for some reason, at a certain point in time, it just got annoying to me. Of like they're trying to sell the soundtrack on me. I get it. I'm here for the movie though.
I'm not a big person. I'm not a big country. I enjoy country. It's probably one of my least favorite, but I do enjoy some country songs. I enjoyed that part of it. I like the country music. What my biggest confusing thing was, if you really take a step back and kind of think about the bad guys and the good guys in this movie, just to kind of simplify it, the bad guys, what they were doing is they wanted to scan the tornado with these triangulated machines that were whatever oversimplified buildings, you know, but get all the good data for the information so they could predict where tornadoes are going to go. So this land developer could come and buy up all the land, like take the land from the people.
Which is smart.
Which, one, is smart. 2, they're not actually destroying anything. And 3, that information they get from these scans could be vitally important. And they acted like what they were doing was such a travesty. And these people handing out T-shirts were doing so much more.
Well, yeah, I think there was more of like we're forcing you off the land, and it almost turned into like this Hawaii's Indian reservation or something like that. And it's like that's not what this is about.
No. Well, towards the end, what's the buddy that recruited her back in? The guy that's in everything, Javi. So he's like, they're driving to get the 3rd station up so you can scan this tornado. He's like, no, we have to go back to this town and help them. And it's like the scan of that tornado will help so many more people than helping the one person he ran back and then did nothing in the town.
Yeah, I think
it was
the
more
other
of a feeling.
The other big bad in this movie is the tornadoes, right? Like, so, and
Yeah.
they actually do at some points. I'm not sure if you felt this way, but it felt at some points like the tornadoes were actually stalking.
Can we say tornado?
People with the tornado.
You keep saying tornado.
Oh, do I say
That's tornado.
Turducken. So the tornadoes,
Yes.
they're like
We're
stalking
chasing people. Yeah.
There's a rodeo scene in here where they literally sit down at a rodeo and they immediately look up and go, the sky doesn't look good. By the way, the sky is in the sky. Like, it would have been the whole way there. You would have seen the sky. And if you're also these great tornado hunters, then why didn't you know that the tornado was going to hit?
Yeah.
But anyway, these tornadoes are literally like stalking the main characters.
They were bad guys.
And it felt like, it was like that old Saturday Night Live skit where the shark comes to the door and it's like Candygram, like that's what it felt like with these tornadoes. Like, hey,
one thing that stuck out to me is, if this was real life, who would ever live in Oklahoma? Like, there was a tornado every 13 seconds. Well, and they were chasing people.
It was not. Yeah, they literally were like, I don't like you, and I'm coming after you and your family, and everybody else is fine. I do like, we have at the beginning. So basically, the YouTuber, which is Glenn Powell and his crew, you think they're the bad guys that are just trying to make money and profit off of this. Where you think Javi, who brought Kate
they
back
gave him
in.
that impression too, because he was like, we've got to go back and help people. But at the very beginning, our good guy is driving into the middle of them and just shooting fireworks for clickbait.
Exactly. I mean, they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I do like the turn that you have, where then all of a sudden Javi, who's kind of the best friend and you like him, he kind of turns into the bad guy in this movie.
But then has a double
the antagonist,
again,
and
like an alien,
and he comes back around. But
that
then
was an alien. That was an alien Romulus double flip. He went bad, then back to good.
It's a lot of movies like that. Yeah. My number one issue with this movie is everything about this movie is as cookie cutter as humanly possible. Like, I know everything that's going to happen in this movie, and it got. With it being 2 hours and 2 minutes, which, by the way, it should have only been 90 minutes, a tight 90. Yeah. I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm just now waiting for it to happen. I'm waiting. I knew Javi was going to get the character arc to come back around. Like, I knew all these things, and it's like, all right, just make it happen already. Like,
you knew from the very beginning he was going to have a rough edge around him or do something kind of not appreciated, because at the very beginning there was a group of people that went chasing after a tornado. A tragedy happened. A bunch of them died. But he wakes up and they're like, "Oh, I'm hungover. I'm the drunk one." And it's like, all right, so he's going to have the weird character flip. They're all dead because they're not famous, and she's going to be struggling with it. And I even wrote down here, so many conveniences and obvious things happened throughout this entire movie. It just was a cookie cutter.
It was paint by numbers, and this was honestly, they probably thought they were going to make $1 billion, and it was a cash grab with Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones. So,
which, I mean. And to your point just a few seconds ago, or I guess a few minutes ago, this was a recap of the 1996 film, just not done as well. I mean, they tried to hit those same high points, but it was so cookie cutter, so obvious, and so contrived. It just didn't work for me.
So I'll start this week here. For rating here, 0 to 10, I give it a 5. I mean, like, to me, this is right in the middle. Like, there are a lot of things I enjoyed watching the movie, once again, it was way too long and there's a lot wrong with it. So I think there's a couple scores that could be here, but when I look at this, I go, it's average. Like, it was average. It's fine. So that's where I land. Where do you come in?
I'm a little bit lower. I'm a 3. One thing definitely bugged me more than you. I felt like it was an advertisement for Kate, and I was getting sick of constantly being reminded. Every character that came on screen even the people that didn't like her, told you how great she was, and then it was just a worse version of the original Twister. I mean,
yeah. So that literally takes us into because this is a good conversation to go into our category number 2, which is the ARC, which stands for acting, relatability, and character development, which also is the arc, right? The character arcs that are in here. So let's just start with Kate here. So she's very self-righteous. She's almost too good in every scene. So the beginning of the movie, she's chasing with her boyfriend and her friends, and they all die. She's the only one that lives with Javi, who kind of stayed back from chasing the tornado.
Yep.
And then we fast forward 5 years later, and she's kind of like in the weather game, at the Weather Channel, but she's not in this and gets pulled back in. But like
she's
every decision,
showing up her peers.
Yeah, every decision she makes is always right. She's walking around with like that baggage of like her boyfriend, but she's going to get past it with Glenn Powell.
Yep. Glenn Powell was way better looking,
but I think he was. But I to be honest with you, I'm a big fan of Glenn Powell. I like Glenn Powell.
Here's what Glenn Powell is. Glenn Powell he's a pitcher that has the best one pitch that you've ever seen, and everything else is just okay. Like he can do this part right here. He did it the same thing in Top Gun. Every movie he's in.
He plays the good cocky asshole that
he's this guy, but
with a heart of gold.
With a heart of gold, right? He does it. He always comes around, right? So they kind of did the same thing with Top Gun too. They showed him as like an asshole at first, but go get him, Goose. Or whatever,
he was in that movie with Sydney Sweeney. I'm not sure. It's called Too Good for You or whatever it is. Yep. It's actually a good rom-com, but it's the same thing. He's the cocky asshole with the heart of gold. Like that's his Jason Statham. That's his Vin Diesel.
His name's Glenn, so he's got to have something, right? Really
he is Glenn.
I put everybody who was okay in this. I said nothing terrible to bad. Glenn Powell is obviously very good. He's good at what he does. He has one character, and he does it very well. One thing I like to point out about the acting, and this isn't really about the acting, but who was in it, and it's kind of a fun fact more than anything else, but Glenn Powell, every movie he's ever been in, his parents have a small cameo.
Really?
Every movie all the way back to like
that's super cool.
Lava Boy and whatever he was way back when he was a kid. In this movie, in the rodeo, his parents were sitting behind him.
That's awesome.
Then the second thing is Bill Paxton's son was actually a cameo in this movie. The late Bill Paxton, who's no longer with us, he had kind of a worse cameo. So he was James Paxton was that customer complaining to the hotel guy about the air conditioner or whatever it was.
That's actually a pretty big scene, though. I mean, like not.
Well, he got killed. And drove off, and
he was an asshole.
Yeah.
I will say so Tyler Owens, which is Glenn Powell, I thought he was I actually liked the Kate and Tyler
that's
where
dynamic. It kind of worked a little bit.
Yeah. I think it worked. I like Javi, his character was just fine. You know what I mean? Like once again, it was paint by numbers.
Like I rolled my eyes a lot at Javi. I think he could have been a good villain throughout, and they just didn't know, they couldn't commit to him being bad.
You know who the best actor in the movie was Maura Tierney, who plays the mom of Kate. I think those scenes were actually really good.
Such a small
real
part, though.
But here's where I think they missed. That should have been Helen Hunt. I think if you would have held, like the fact that you don't have Helen Hunt in this movie, I think is a travesty. Especially when you're reimagining.
I think she rejected
movie.
it though. I don't think she wanted to be part of it.
I just think if you could have, well, and if that's the case, I apologize. Yeah. But I think so. There's a scene where basically. Helen. Like at the beginning, she's talking, Kate's talking to her mom on the phone, and they're going to go back for sandwiches. And, she avoids her mom like for 5-6 years. And then she ends up back at her mom's house when things kind of go bad in Oklahoma. And I think you would have never seen it coming if you show up and it's Helen Hunt and she's the original storm chaser. So of course her daughter's a storm chaser. And of course she knows the pitfalls of storm chasing. So she doesn't want her daughter to do it. Like, I think you could have had a great story there.
Well, the thing they had at the very beginning was Dorothy. Her little machine was called Dorothy at the very beginning. That was Dorothy 5, and in the original Twister, it was Dorothy 4 that got. So it was a.
I understand you put but here's the deal. I haven't watched the original Twister since probably 2005. Like maybe it's been 20 years probably since I watched it. So I'm not going to catch up on Dorothy 4 versus Dorothy 5. But if Helen Hunt shows up as the mom and is like, your dad passed away years ago, and like she's Bill, like there's so many things you could have done, to like tie them together to go, that's cool. It doesn't have any impact in the movie, like from anything, but like now it makes sense. And I get, and from there, I would have built Kate's whole backstory in childhood and
could have connected him.
You know what I mean?
You could have connected him. And made him Bill Paxton's daughter.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep. But like, two things I like to point out. My favorite actor, and he had an amazingly small part to this, and I don't even know how to pronounce the guy's name, but he played Dexter in one of the groups. He was in Tyler's group. He was the black guy that was, he was like, "Oh, twins, that has a name, that has an." Everything he said, I thought was just very funny and entertaining. But he only said like 10 things, so it's such a small part.
I liked his group. It was Boone, Dexter, Danny, and Lily, and
the whole group was great. I thought Dexter was the best.
Yeah, I would like to see more of them.
And then on Javi's side, he had the guy named Scott that sat next to him. He was the MIT grad.
I like him.
He was good, but more to point out, he's our next Superman. So he's right now current. Yeah, he's the new Superman. So they're working to get that movie out. I think 2026. I think.
Well, you know who's his kryptonite? It's Kate. Because he was not.
Oh, I guess we're listening to her. Oh, I guess she was right. Yeah, she's right about everything. Like
she's right every time. So listen, where are you coming in on the arc?
I thought everything was fine to good, so I gave it a 5. I had no complaints. I did really like Glenn Powell. I think he's got his one play, and I like that one guy. I thought he was funny throughout the movie, but I thought everything was just good.
So I'm a 6, so pretty much right there with you. But I did think it was above average, and I think the acting was great from everybody. Like I have no complaints. Like nobody was like stellar, but it was all good. And like I said, there's a couple characters like I appreciated their dynamic on screen together. So so that takes us to category number 3, visual appeal. What is that?
Yeah, your visual is going to be visual appeal is going to be everything you see. So your effects, the visual, cinematography, CGI, practical effects, just whatever they're throwing up on the screen, and did it look good? So I thought the movie looked pretty good. I thought there were some bad CGI in here from time to time, but it was so sparingly that some of the times you even question. I was like, "Does that just look really funny, or is that?" So that didn't really take away from it too much. But I thought everything looked pretty good. I felt like they tried to recapture a lot of the look and feel of the original Twister. Problem is, I just thought the original Twister did it a little bit better.
Well, like I almost feel like that is the problem with this category is that the original one looks so good and it's from 1996. So it's almost 30 years later, and this one looks good. Yeah, but it looks just as good. And I go, okay, why did 30 years ago? It's kind of what we always talk about. And I can't I feel like CGI is taking a step backward, but I also feel like how much more realistic could the tornado look? I did appreciate the look of the towns.
But I know what the tornado
I did say tornado that time, and I cut you. Well, I didn't catch myself, but listen, I believe in Oklahoma, that's what they call them, tornadoes. Right?
Hey, you probably got me there.
And if I listen to enough of the country songs that I lost my dog. I own a truck now. My wife left me, and I say tornado. Okay,
your wife is 1,500 miles away,
and I chew sunflower seeds now. So these are things that have happened. But no, I my favorite looks in this movie are the aftermaths after the tornado goes through. Yeah, now that it makes sense. I will tell you, there's a scene. It's that rodeo scene where there's that like bus that's coming. I think it's that scene. There's like a bus coming at them, or it looks so bad.
The one that when they're in the pool, that trailer.
I think it's that one. But I'm also thinking, was there another scene where a bus? I don't know. It was like a bus or some kind of big thing was coming out of it.
There was a trolley car going down the middle of the street. So that was the last town when they got everybody in the movie theater.
End, yeah, that looks so terrible.
That looked really bad. There was another scene when she was driving the truck into the Twister in that same scene where they gave a top-down look of the truck, and it just looked like a Nintendo 64 truck driving into it. But they were kind of quick, so.
I mean, the one scene with the trolley, I mean, it's quick, but it was still on there for a good 5 to 7 seconds.
The problem with the trolley one is they had it kind of jump off the tracks a little bit, and it was such a choppy CGI that it just made it stick out like a sore thumb.
Well, they had it slide.
And what kind of one road town is going to have a trolley car down the 10 stores? And was it just going to do like a quarter mile down and back? I mean,
Oklahoma's a funny place, apparently.
Who lives there with all these tornadoes? Give me a break.
And you would leave. I'm
selling to that guy. I'm like, thank God, I'm moving somewhere away from tornadoes.
I'm glad somebody will buy this because I'm either going to die.
They're the good guys.
Yeah, well,
just because he's going back to story beats a little bit, but the guy the guy they picked to be the bad land developer, if you didn't know that guy was a bad guy from the half second he was on the screen, that was a telegraphed. Like everyone knew that guy was going to be a villain. Like it was so obvious. Like
once again, paint by numbers.
If he had a monocle and a little scar, it would have been just a little bit more on the nose.
Yeah, it was come over here. See, we're doing this for the good of the town.
Hey, I'm trying to help you out, man.
Pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar.
Pennies on the dollar. See.
Yeah. No, I mean, for the most part, I think it looks fine. I don't have much more to say here. I don't know if you.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm a 6. That's where I am. I could understand going a little higher with this, but I found myself a lot of the time.
You're being very, very forgiving on some of these things.
I found myself a lot of the time sitting in there, though, just like waiting for the scenes to be over because they were just so long. And I'm going, hey, it looks great, but I just didn't care at that point in time.
Yeah, but that doesn't sound like better than average.
No,
5's average.
But the scenes look better than average, but I don't think they look like this is the most amazing thing.
At times they did, at times they didn't. Yeah, I agree. So I technically gave it a 4.5, but since we can't do that, I had to round up to a 5. So I did give it a 5, but I just wanted to preface it by saying it was probably a 4.5. Like as you like
this, it was a sad 5.
It was a sad 5 or a happy 4.
Or a happy 4. I don't know which one.
Yeah. So
the way you teed it up made it seem like it was a sad 5.
Yeah. It hit right about average, and that's about what you're going to see in the movie theaters today. Some CGI that you're just like 1994 looked better, and some cool shots. I mean, some cool tornado shots, some cool Oklahoma shots, the destruction of the building. I mean, there's some nice looking things in there. It just, the original Twister did it better. And I think the way they did this movie, you almost have to compare it to the 1986.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of tornado movies out there. But most like natural disaster movies have a little bit of everything nowadays.
Except for Deep Impact. It's sunlight.
I wish they would just drill in holes on asteroids in space.
There you go.
That's the best natural disaster.
Close my eyes.
Unnatural disaster movies. That's no. I don't know. Like let's just go to category 4. Let's just do that. So our 4th category of the evening is something we like to call the movie driver, and that is basically what you are coming to see, the genres of this film. Did it hit that? So I always make the example, if it's an action movie, was the fighting good, or the action sequences, whatever, like what is it? So what are your movie drivers for this film?
Yeah, so what I put in this one was disaster, action, adventure.
Okay, those are I had thriller in there as well, I think, but mine was disaster, action. So we're
yeah.
Same movie drivers here. So I'll kind of first off, like when it comes to disaster, yes,
a lot of things,
you get that.
A lot of tornadoes happen.
A lot of tornadoes, and then the action. I mean, it is action packed. I mean, every 5 minutes there's another tornado.
It's very telegraphed action, but there is it is there, right? So action, destruction, all that stuff. It's there, and it's maybe a little unnatural and a little vindictive tornadoes, but the adventure part is where I struggled with my action adventure part, because they stayed in one place. They weren't really, I don't know what their goal was. Their goal at the beginning was the one team was trying to be famous and get likes and help people. The other team was trying to scan it and sell it to land developers. And then it turned into destroying it. And at the very end, they're like, they're not going to believe you how you destroyed it, but we know. So it's like nothing actually.
Well, yeah, but
there was no adventure to that.
I guess when you look from the outside, and this is action or adventure here, the beginning is dangerous tornado, right? People die, dangerous tornado.
That's beginning, middle, and end.
No.
Because they're sitting in the airport and another tornado comes.
Yeah, well, I guess the rodeo is dangerous, but I mean, this is most of the tornadoes throughout this movie. It's all in fun, loving. Hey, there's a tornado. Let's just go after it. Oh, this is super cool. Shoot some stuff into it. Like that's fun. But there's 2 times, maybe, I guess 3 times throughout this that there's like, stalking tornado, here to kill you tornado.
The tonal shifts.
So like, I think that throws it off a little bit, because when you make light of the tornadoes throughout it, and then all of a sudden, but this is a bad one now. Like I've never been in a tornado, but I know they're all bad.
I had one just missed me by a half a mile.
And it would have been terrible. You wouldn't have you weren't gonna hawk it down and be like, "Woo, look at this."
I mean, I might have, but
well, maybe you would, but
I don't know. So I agree. The disaster part of the movie, there's a lot of destruction. You see a lot of aftermath of destruction. You can tell it's a natural disaster movie. It scratches that itch. The action, I mean, there's a lot going on. If it's redundant and typical and obvious, but it's still there. So it's just the adventure part I kind of struggled with. It's like, where are we actually going with this movie? And I feel like we didn't really accomplish anything, except we know now that Kate is amazing.
Well, I knew then, and then I knew 5 minutes later, and 5 minutes later, and 5 minutes later.
I mean, every character.
I really don't think the struggle's in the adventure piece. I mean, the ride you're going on. Like, he pulls her from New York City to go chase these tornadoes back in Oklahoma. You know exactly what's going to happen. There's your adventure. I'm not going to fault it because it happens all in Oklahoma. Like, an adventure movie doesn't have to take place in 17 different places.
No, but I'm expecting an accomplishment, something to happen. Like they're at the end of the movie, they're in the exact same places, and he's destroying airport property. I mean, like nothing really got accomplished. I mean, yes.
There are no consequences.
There's no
except
consequences,
at the beginning. There's consequences. After that, there's no more consequences.
Yeah, a couple of her friends who are no-name actors get sucked into a tornado. That's a TF.
Well, actually, the girl with the glasses is a famous actress.
I don't remember. I'd have to look.
Yeah, I think she's in the new Ghostbusters and all that stuff. But she's decent. I was surprised they killed her off. But yes, for the most part, I don't know anybody else that was in that scene. But Movie Driver, where are we?
Movie Driver, I mean, it is a disaster movie. It does have good action in it. I mean, I just felt it's a 6. Like, I thought it was a little bit better than average because it's a 2 hour and 2 minute, and you're kind of going that entire, like, you don't have any time to breathe. There's constantly tornadoes hitting.
Yeah, we'll just continue with the theme of me just being a little higher than you. I'm a 7 here. Yeah. Honestly, I mean, for the most part, it hit everything that it should. It's just by making fun of the tornadoes for a good portion of the movie, it makes it when they actually are scared of them, I'm kind of like,
Yeah, just shoot some fireworks into it. We already know his rig worked, so...
Not a big deal. I was also waiting for a scene, and there was one where there were, like, 2 tornadoes going in separate directions, but,
the twins!
But there was never... I was waiting for the scene where they were like, it's not 1 tornado. It's 2 tornadoes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, oh, now they're all coming at us. That's the one piece that I just assumed.
There's 3 tornadoes coming at us from 3 different directions and converging on us.
Let's triangulate the coordinates in the middle, and I don't know.
You know what I'm kind of surprised is they didn't put the cow scene in this one. Cow. They did the chicken coop instead.
Yeah.
I think I killed some chickens.
Yeah, and the chicken comes falling down.
It's kind of funny.
All right, so our last category for tonight's festivities is a lasting impression, and what is that?
So lasting impression is two main things, right? So when you first either hit stop on the movie or walk out of the theater, how to make you feel, what was kind of spinning around in your mind. Number 2 is basically rewatchability. Are you going to revisit this movie, watch it 1, 2, 10 more times? Like, how do you feel about revisiting this movie? So, I mean, for me, I rolled my eyes a whole lot when I through this movie and at the end of this movie. I'm just like, okay. Funny thing is on this, and you kind of brought it. I did like the soundtrack, so I don't think it will be connected. That was what I did like. I did enjoy the soundtrack. I actually went and looked it up who was singing on it. I saw Jelly Roll and other people, so I thought that was entertaining.
Listen, this is like one of those movies that I think is a good date movie, or it's easy to recommend if somebody likes a natural disaster film. It's got that love story to it. Like, it tries to cram everything in there, and just there's too much stuff and not enough substance.
Or Javier got friend zoned.
Yes, all Javi wanted was Kate. But had a weird way of showing it, I guess, throughout by leaving her alone for 5 years. But rewatchability on this, I'm not ever like there's no point for me to revisit this.
If you want to see a movie like this, you're going to see the original.
Yeah, or some of these other natural disaster movies,
Yep.
or I'll go find there's other tornado movies that I've not seen that like it'll be like, okay,
Sharknado even maybe, so you could laugh at it.
I mean, I've seen Sharknado,
but you'd watch that again before you'd watch this again.
Yeah, because there's comedy to it versus now that you've seen, like, I don't think, but this is where I this comment I was kind of saving for this area here.
Like it. I'm ready.
This is a movie that needs to be seen in a theater. And I think if this movie in a theater with the surround sound on the big screen and that feeling, I think some of these categories end up being maybe a half a point to a point higher in certain things just because of the feel of it. And I think when you watch it on a TV at home, it's kind of like, okay, like it is.
Maybe the action scenes, yes, but the rest of the glue that holds this movie together, it just was too many eye rolls.
No, I definitely agree with you. Like the normal scenes in the middle aren't better in the theater, but the tornado, there's a ton of tornado scenes. All right, like they give you a ton of tornadoes, and every one of those would have been better in the theater. And I think you would walked out feeling a little. I'm not saying whatever your final score is, it's probably a point higher. Like is something like that from being in the theater.
Maybe something like the half point to a point. It definitely would have helped. It would have made it feel bigger than it was on the TV. It just stuck out worse, the connecting pieces. It had a little found footage at the in the beginning. I was like, oh, Mike's gonna like this. He's gonna be about a point and a half higher than me because this feels. But then they kind of got rid of the YouTube side of it.
No, but it's kind of like one of those ones where I feel like, how would I ever rewatch this again? Well, maybe if like down the road somewhere, not in the next couple years, if there was like a Twister 1 and 2 at a drive-in theater or something, I could see myself going, okay, like I could go, like I never saw this on the big screen. Yeah. This could be entertaining. I
see myself watching the first one and then being like, man, you ready to go? Like it's 8:30. It's past my bedtime. Let's go ahead.
And your wife's like, I want Glenn Powell.
Yeah. All right, there's movies with a shirt off. We can go watch those. Like,
put it on your phone; it'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
No, like I said, it's average. I feel like I got exactly. I don't remember what our scores were from last week. I know it's at the beginning of the show. I think you were. I think we're both about fives.
Yeah,
in there, and that's kind of how I felt at the end of this. Of like, okay, like it's. I kind of got exactly what I thought I was going to get, but I wanted a little bit more. Like that's just how I felt.
I think this could have been, if this would have been about 30 minutes shorter, I think this gets to I think this even does better than the big screen. I think a point and a half, but like, let's tighten everything up. Let's get rid of just a constant praise of Kate. Let's tighten up this movie and just make it an action movie. And I think at least another point.
Yeah, I'm with you. So I guess I'm here first. So lasting impression, I'm a 5. Right in the middle. It's average for me. I mean, like I said, I don't want to take anything away from what it did well. It was like I got, like I said, it was average. I don't know. Where are you?
I mean, I'm not going to go watch this movie again. So that hurts it quite a bit more. And not rewatching again takes me below the 5. And then too many eye rolls. I think this movie was an easy layup and they didn't take it. I gave it a 3.
Oof.
Yeah. I mean, I won't go see it again. I'm just not interested.
So, all right. So adding up the scores here, we'll start with you in this one.
I'm always the lowest.
You are a 22 out of 50 for the Russian judge over here, which puts us right at a 4.4.
Which I thought I was going to be at a 5.
So you're, close. Yeah. And then mine is a 29 out of 50, which equals a 5.8. I think I was like a 5.5. So I think honestly we're pretty close to what we thought we were going to be. 4.4 to 5.8 feels like a lot. I know it's a point and a half, but I think I was just slightly higher than you in almost every category.
The way our scoring system works is if you're just a little bit liking a movie more than the other person, it's going to give you about a point and a half difference pretty quickly.
It was really the lasting impression and story beats, 5 to 3, 5 to 3.
I was 3, 5, 5, 6, 3.
And I was 6, 6, 7 in the middle. So it's just, but like those two outskirts were the only ones that we were off by more than one in any category. But I was just slightly higher. I do like natural disaster movies. I like the tornadoes. I really like the dynamic with Kate and Tyler in this movie.
I think that could have been good. I think they could have played into that more, and they just
like I said,
cut a lot of the garbage out.
Have Helen Hunt as the mom, even though Maura Tierney, I think, was the best actress in this movie.
Probably.
It's just, I don't know. Like, it's fine. Like, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, that would be the slogan on the movie. Twisters. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. You'll see a movie. It needed to be shorter, though, for sure.
I don't understand. And I think this is, I want to say, so this is our 7th week of this show. And
almost every movie needs to be shorter.
I would say only one movie has been, I think, an hour and 40 or under. Everything else has been over 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, and Terrifier was 2:30.
No, Terrifier was 2:05 or something.
Over 2 hours for a horror movie.
Terrifier is the one that I wish was longer. But Joker, too long. The Substance was over 2 hours, too long. Twisters was too long. I can't remember all the. Smile was over 2 hours. Smile 2, and we liked that movie. But it was still too long.
It was too long. Yep. It was a very entertaining 2 hours, but it's like a couple scenes I'm looking down at the watch. And the same thing with this one. I was kind of like, all right, I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, all right, I've been sitting here for about an hour. I only paused it twice. So
but you want to know what? It was because I knew the character arcs, and I go, okay, he's going to have his redemption. They're going to fight the big tornado. They're going to like probably fall in love at the end. Like, I'm just waiting for these things to happen. And it's like, until 100%. They happen, I just know there's more movie. And I'm like, because you start doing that pause where you're looking, 17 minutes. Okay.
Oh, wow. The really good looking guy and the really good looking girl are getting together. That's so surprising.
It's crazy how that happened. Oh.
Who saw that coming?
Yeah. Oh, that's the only other thing of this that I'll say, and we can move on from this. Glenn Powell all of a sudden being like the genius scientist at the end is kind of
I can punch your numbers into my supercomputer and we can do a modeling and destroy volcanoes.
He's this YouTube shooting fireworks into things like, I'm so dumb by my head. And then all of a sudden he's like, the molecular blah, blah, blah. Like, I can put this into my mind. Like, you're not that dude.
They could have made him just a leader and a person with personality, and they could have kept that arc for him, but they went a weird way with it.
Honestly, I think they should have made him who he was at the beginning and made him evil and just a dick. And like, he's a genius, but he is bad. And everything is, and he likes her, and she maybe even likes him, but it's like that dynamic of he's an asshole, and she, like, you could have played that off somewhere. I don't know, but
there's a million things you could have done. And I just feel like movies today just take the safe path. It's like they throw all these ideas into an AI generator, and they're like, this is the safest path. And then that's what they do.
Well, they were going to get as many people in the theater as possible. And to have that, you got to like Glenn Powell, and you got to like some of these people.
Which I like Glenn Powell. I was on board for that.
But I'm just saying, like, if you make him like the bad guy, it probably hurts numbers more than anything. But anywho,
you can make him a good guy and give him a good story arc, and just make his character a country bumpkin. Like, it's fine to be that. Like, you can understand weather and not know the scientific stuff behind it. Like, I've been in this my whole life. I have the feeling. She had the feeling, and the
Papa used to say,
all that stuff. It could have been just, I don't know. They just took the safe way. Is what it is.
Well, listen, we are moving on from Twisters. We have survived the tornadoes. And we not tornadoes, because nobody says that, obviously, Kurt. But we have survived that, and we live to watch another week, and we are not going to be here next week, so we do apologize. We have to take a impromptu week off. We gotta pick up the pieces from the Twister. So that's where we are. But Kirk, when we return in 2 weeks, what is our movie going to be?
Pretty sure we're going to have a gladiatorial debate coming up here pretty soon of another reimagining sequel, whatever the heck this is going to be.
I don't know. I know Denzel's in it. Denzel. But yes, we will be going back to the theater to see a little Gladiator Deuce action as our year of sequels continues.
I think that's just what Hollywood does now. It's not going to be a year. It's going to be many, many years of sequels.
All we have are sequels. But it's okay. It's just where we are. So yes, we will be returning in 2 weeks with Gladiator 2. As always, we greatly appreciate anybody that's listening. If you have Apple Podcasts, please go on there, give us 5 stars, leave a review. It does make a huge difference. If you want to interact with us, just search Movies at 7 on any of your social media. We're on pretty much everything, and you can talk to us there as well. And we got some good stuff coming up, for the end of the year, and who knows what January is going to look like, and what we'll be rating in
the lovely time frame of movie theaters in January.
Yes, where they're empty and the movies are terrible. Yes, but
that's where movies go to die.
That's why we watch them, so you don't have to. That should be our slogan.
There it is.
But listen, until next time, which is literally 2 weeks, see you at the movies.